Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Koopalings. Welcome to this week's episode of the Nintendo Shack podcast. I am here with Donnie Reese. Delvin is off again this week. How are you doing today, Donnie?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I've been sleeping a lot. I slept like all weekend long. Like, I don't know if it's like catching up on sleep or like something's wrong with me or what, but like I'm sleeping a lot. It's like it's good sleep too.
I did that last weekend.
Yeah.
But I get it. Sometimes you just got to catch up.
Yeah.
Especially like us, like we stay up a lot. You know, I'm there at 2 a.m. when you text.
Well, I'm trying to fix my sleep schedule. I'm not trying to be awake at like 2 a.m. or whatever whenever I'm messaging. Like I'm trying to get back to a normal sleep schedule because then it messes me up during the week and then I'm tired and then like I have to take a nap after work and then I'm up all night and then it's a horrible cycle. I think it's also just like a busy time of the school year, so I'm like busy and tired and dying.
You're prepping to get out.
Yeah.
Do you work extra job in the summer?
No, I used to, like when I was in grad school and like interning and stuff and like wasn't making a lot of money, but now no. My summer is like do nothing mode. Play
Precious.
Games, like
I love it.
Yeah.
God, don't we all wish we had
I
like
waste
an extended
all
break?
of my time. Like the summer break is like waste my life away mode.
I wish it was mandatory. I wish we all had like an extended break.
Yeah, it should be.
At least like a good at least like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody could use like a 3-week break like once a year.
It'd be good for tourism. It'd be good for many industries.
Isn't it like a European thing to do?
I don't know. They get
on
more
holiday
time
or something
off in general.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's been a pretty normal week for me. I don't think I've played anything of note to talk about, to be honest.
Really?
I haven't been picking up my games too much this week. I've been sleeping and working.
You really have been
listening
sleeping.
to music. Yeah.
I haven't played much games, just been sleeping.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm boring today. I'll be playing a lot of stuff like mid-month onwards. Actually, next weekend, I'm getting a code for Little Kitty Big City.
Uh-oh.
So I'll be playing that. It comes out May 9th. We'll talk about that soon. But I'll have that to talk about next week.
I look forward to hearing about it. It's on Game Pass, so I can play it if I want to. I have not been planning on playing it.
I was looking because I'm getting a Switch code, but I was looking at the prices and it's like there's like sale prices for the first like week or whatever. Like if you get it the first week, it is significantly cheaper on Steam than it is on Switch.
How much does it cost?
Switch tax. It's like $8 on Steam and it's like $25 on Switch.
Wow, wow, that is very much cheaper.
Yeah,
that is a hell of a Switch tax. Damn, why is it so cheap on Steam?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
I think it's normally $10 on Steam, but there's like a sale price going on right now.
Maybe they're trying to beat like the Steam code folks that like, buy and sell codes like super cheap and stuff, like the third party market.
Let me fact check this. Yeah, $22.49 and $8.09 are the sale prices.
Jess, I hope you figured it out. I do know the Vita's pretty easy to hack regardless. I've never done it myself, but I think it's pretty easy to do. But if you don't want to do it, hit up Garrett Bland. Be like, hey, friend of a friend, can you hook me up with a Vita? I think I've sent like 6 Vitas to Garrett.
Yeah, he knows a lot about that.
Buy him a memory card or a game or something, and he'll do it for you. And you don't have to worry about trying to figure out all the games and stuff. He already has it, so even better.
Yeah. Oh, I do have a like just I wasn't playing a game, but I was trying my hardest to play a game. I was adding games to my 3DS. Okay.
Yeah.
So originally I was like, I want to play Pokemon White 2 because that's actually like the only one, like the only mainline game that I've never played, Black and White 2. I'm like, I want to play like a new Pokemon game from when Pokemon was good.
Sure.
And so I'm like, where do I want to play it? Because like I didn't want to play it on the Delta emulator on my phone. That's just like too much. So I'm like, you know what? I kind of want to play it on Steam Deck. So like I have it all set up to play 3DS games on Steam Deck, but apparently DS is like a little different. Like I had to get all those BIOS files and stuff, and like I had to like research where to put them, and like it took me like a long time to actually figure it out. And then by the time I actually was able to get it running on my Steam Deck, I had a change of heart. And I'm like, I don't really want to play it on Steam Deck. So I'm like, I'm just going to play it on 3DS. So
Sure.
like, then I have to go find my micro SD to
Let me ask you something.
USB thing so I can get what?
I just want to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Have you already completed this task? Like, is it done?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And I
Because I could
couldn't
have saved you a
find
bunch of time.
why.
So I was going to point out and highlight that I bought one of these a long time ago. You can buy it on my Amazon. It's called the Super Combo 208 Nintendo DS game. It has
Oh.
every DS game on a cartridge, on
And
a 3DS
it's like
cartridge. It's like $10. It's like
No
super cheap. It's
way.
like $10-12. You buy it on
Wait, oh my
Amazon.
God.
You pop the cart in, and it has all the Pokemons, all the Marios, all this, and you just carry the cart with you.
That's amazing. I might still have to pick that up. That's
Because I
really
did
awesome.
this, I did this exercise before. That's the only reason. I'm like, I've done this. I know exactly what you're feeling like. I've been there. I wanted to play Mario 64 on my 3DS. I did the DS version of Mario 64. And I found this out on YouTube. I think I posted it in Shack maybe like a year or two ago. And it's crazy. Let's see here. All the Dragon Quests are on it.
All of the
All the
games
Professor
fit on
Layton's.
one cart.
I think I'm sure it's not every
Not
game,
all of them,
but
but like all the ones that you
it's
would
like the
care about.
ones that I think you probably would
Yeah.
care about. Yeah, I'm sure there's like a Mega Man here or there that's not there, but for the most part, it's all here. And it's the
Wow.
easy button. Like you just take the cartridge, put in 3D, and it just works. It shows up as like a game, I think, and you click on the
And then you
game, and it
just
opens up a menu and a launcher, and you just pick a game and it play and saves work. Everything just works.
So I'm pulling my whole house apart looking for this little converter because I don't have a thing to put my micro SD into my PC. I need that little converter thing to plug in the USB.
Yep.
I can't find it. I'm going through every drawer. I'm going through every box. I'm like, oh my God, like this is not even worth it. Like, so then I finally, like, after a ton of searching, I finally found it. I finally like put my SD card in. I'm like downloading all the ROMs and stuff that I want. And then I go to drag all the ROMs into the SD card. And it turns out I already had Pokemon White 2 on my 3DS.
You have so many tiles you forgot.
I spent all of my gaming time like just doing that. But I did do the forwarder thing, because I didn't do this before, where you get your DS games onto the main menu instead of having to go into like the Twilight menu. That's worth it.
I did
So
that the
worth
first time.
Yeah.
So Sean messaged me yesterday about hacking a DS, and honestly, I hacked my DS so long ago. Like you remember, and it's like God, it was like 4 or 5 years ago. It's been so long. I was like, I honestly don't even remember all the stuff. Like I'm sure that's all gotten much better and streamlined now, but I do remember, because I think that was somebody in this chat was like, yeah, I don't want to have to launch like the launchers, and I was like, yeah, you don't have to do that. All of my stuff is just mapped to the. My stuff looks legit.
It's very easy to do it too.
Yeah, I did that the front end, and I've never went back to add games. I don't think I have any games that I feel like I'm missing out on or anything like that. But I also have like the crazy, storage drive, like the crazy SD card, and it's like a 400 gigs or something. Like it's all pretty much there.
It's easier to get 3DS games than DS games, because the 3DS games you can get them like right on the console. You don't need to like plug back into the PC or anything.
Jess, when the show's over, I'll look it up on Amazon and I'll post a link in the Discord.
Of the DS thing?
of the DS game. Yeah,
Yes,
I'll find
please.
it. Yeah, it's super
Yeah.
easy. It just like stays because my memory card has so many of my games on it. The DS card just kind of stays in the DS,
Yeah.
and I just carry them both around because it's like 150 games, like DS games. Just like,
That's
well, this is
amazing.
easy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
I wish they
looking
just did
at that.
this. How great! Well, I mean, look, I don't want to tangent off here. We all wish Nintendo would do more things like this. Like this is,
They could. It just shows
I
they
would,
could.
like at the end of the console, like instead of like leaving it to piracy, market the hell. I would have paid you $70 for something like that.
Yeah.
You know, like we've been talking about minis and like a little Game Boy handheld, a little Game Boy Advance handheld, like make little Raspberry Pi editions of the hardware, load it up with ROMs, and sell those damn things. People would gladly give you $100 for a Game Boy.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mhm.
we even talked about in the past. I think you could sell a little like micro handheld that just had Pokemon. Like you could sell it
Oh,
per
totally.
game, one game
Totally.
at a time if you
That would
wanted
be
to.
a huge collector's item.
People would buy multiples of them.
Yeah.
And
They'd be hard to find.
they just don't. Like they just don't. That part I don't get it because I think they're afraid it's gonna like tap into their business, and it's like, yeah, I think Delta's tapping into your business. I think this little ROM hack is tapping into, like, there's all these other things tapping into your business. Like you should be making the business. But I don't know. They don't want to do it, so I don't get it. Could you imagine a little GBA? Just like
That'd
a
be
little,
awesome.
it'd have a great like a great screen and a great
I
battery.
mean, other people are doing it.
Right, exactly. And
It's
they're
just
selling
money
them.
left on the table. Yeah, these are like 40,
They're
50 bucks,
yes.
if
So,
not more. Yeah.
So
They're
I
not
was
that much
thinking,
more.
what was the really nice one that came out a while ago?
This is the Amber Neck. Is this one? Are you talking
No,
about?
no, no. Like, what's the really nice one? You know what I'm talking about? Like remember the first one that was like the Game Boy with, I think it was
The
it was like the Play Date or something like that, maybe.
I don't know.
The
I
Play
have
Night.
this, and I have the
I think it was like $200 or something. It was expensive.
retro something.
And I was like, wow, Game Boy, like Nintendo could just release a Game Boy.
Yeah.
Illegal Tiger Electronics, become a little toy maker
Something
again.
really cheap, plasticky.
Dude,
yeah.
It would sell so well. But they don't. And yeah, I think you could do it per game too. And just, sell boxes. People buy them just to collect. People buy them to play. Analog Pocket. Is that it?
The one. That's the one that you might be thinking about that one. That one's like
I think
the
that was
higher
the
end
one.
one.
Yeah.
I have that. It plays real cartridges.
Nice.
By Analog.
But that one's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And then they do have the Amber Necks, and I have one of those as well, and they're pretty cheap. So yeah, I think Nintendo could sit in right nicely right in there. And they could even, I think Delvin has brought this up before, they could even sell cartridges. They could just like reprint old games, and people would buy them. But it's not worth it for them. Maybe it's not worth it in the end. Maybe it'd be too much effort. But the NES Mini was pretty freaking successful. Like,
Pokemon will print money no matter what it is, just from collectors alone.
Yeah, I've always thought of that like that. I've had that idea. I think I've brought up on Shaq many times before. I have this picture in my head of you walk in, and on the shelf there's like a gold Game Boy and a silver Game Boy and a yellow Game Boy and a red Game Boy and a blue one, and like everyone just comes. It's like a little mold.
It just plays that game.
It just plays that game. And how many people are buying like 10 of those? They're going to buy each one's the same game. They're going to buy every one of them.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
just to have it.
And if they like reprinted like the manual, like the game manual, and they include like that's such easy money. Easy money.
It's paper. It can't cost them that much. Is that syrup behind you? Log cabin
syrup? It
syrup?
is, because I got right as we started, I was delivered French toast.
That is a dangerous thing to be eating in front of your computer.
Well, I'm not eating it because we started the show. So it'll sit here. It's going to be cold French toast when we get off the show. I'll have to warm it back up and eat it again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Have you been playing anything
Kyle?
of note?
I'm on vacation this week. So this is my last day of vacation. So sad. I have to go back to work tomorrow.
Bummer.
But yeah, I have played games. Actually, crazy. Not as many games as I would have thought. Like when I took off vacation, I was like, I'm going to play games every day. I went most of the week. I didn't play a thing. But I have been playing games. I've been playing a lot of Rock Band. I've been playing oddly a lot of Wolfenstein the last couple days because I've been in the mood for that. But I have had a game on Switch that I'm happy to talk about.
Yeah.
I talked about it on PSVG a little bit, so if you listen to both shows, just bear with me. Um, I bought this game on a whim because it was recommended to me on Steam months ago, and I put it on my wish list. I was like going, you open up Steam, and they're like, "We think you might like, one of these 5 games." And every so often, I'll just click into it, see something, and I saw a game once, and I was like, "That does look kind of cool. I'll just put this on my wish list. Maybe go on sale one day." And lo and behold, I opened up my Switch last week, and the game just came to Switch. It's the same game,
Ooh.
and it's like it's a new release. It's a little more expensive on Switch, but I was like, what the hell? Like, I'm not playing a whole lot. Let's give it a try. It's called El Shaddai. El Shaddai, and I forget it's like El Shaddai and the Ascension of the Metatron or something like that. Something like that. And it's awesome. Like, it is one of
How do
the
you
most.
spell that? That sounds like it's like a.
It's Lel Shaddai, Shaddai. If you go into the Discord and you check the Nintendo chat, you just scroll up, you will see countless little video snippets and screenshots or pictures I've taken of it, because it's visually one of the most striking games I've ever seen in my entire life. Visually, like, to even try to describe its style is hard because it has so many different styles. It reminds me a lot of like something like Okami.
Yeah.
Like visually, we were talking about on the chat, somebody mentioned Gree. It is striking in that way. It's not like visually impressive. It's not pushing pixels or, ray tracing or anything like that. It's style, it's art. And the crazy thing about it is that the damn game changes styles so frequently. It goes from, okay, hang on. Describe the game to you.
Yeah, what
It's
what
a
do what do
hack
you do
and
in the game?
it's a hack and slash action game. Think
Okay.
of like a Devil May Cry or like a God of War. The combat is mid, tame, average. It's nothing to write home about. The game is also like 15 years old. Game came out in like 2010.
Oh, okay.
So long, yeah. Game came out a long time ago on Steam. Dev told me apparently it came out on 360 and PS3. I just never saw it or heard about it. It is a religious game. My wife brought this up to me, and I was talking to her about it, showing her the game. Apparently, this El Shaddai, this Enoch character, is like an old Hebrew text about this
I was
angel.
literally gonna say that the name sounds like a Middle Eastern type of name.
Yeah. So it's like an old Hebrew religious text that is not canon to the Bible. Like, it was left out of the Bible, but it is a thing that exists in the world. And it's about this person named Enoch that God makes an angel, and he goes and rescues these fallen angels from hell, like from Lucifer. And that's the game. Like, the game is that, like, you are rescuing these archangels. You go into these different levels of this like hell tower. And like, again, visually, it reminds me very much of like something like, if you had told me that this was a platinum game, I would 100% would have believed you, because it looks and feels like that.
It's
Especially
like
like
a
an
little
old
indie
one.
studio or something?
Yeah, well, the studio's closed. They closed a long
Oh.
time ago, and then somebody bought the rights to this, and I guess they're the one that remastered it and
Selling, yeah.
re-released it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's $30. As a game on its own, like, it's a button masher. You hold to hit hard and smash, press it many times to do combos. You do get different weapons, so you get like a what they call like an arch, which plays like a sword, and you get like a veil, which gets like a bow, and then you have like these you get like this shield that can split apart into like hands, and then like you like punch harder.
Okay.
But it's really the visuals. It's a visual feast. So I started the game on this statue falling from heaven to the earth. It's like you're on a hand, and it's falling through the sky as you're going through all the clouds, and like these minions fall on it. You have to fight them off as you're doing it. And
As
then
you're
you hit the
falling.
ground as you're falling. You hit earth, and earth is just like very pristine and white, and there's like water, and the water is very clear. It's very like almost like angelic, right? And you're like, this is crazy. This is cool. Like, on Switch OLED, this thing really pops. And then you play through the first level, and then you're dropped into like this monochrome, black, white, hazy, ashy play. And you're like, what is this
Like
about?
Gree.
Then I fell into an arena that was sunshine orange like orange and yellow everywhere, and I had to fight this I don't know, like this otaku samurai looking character who then killed me and apparently sent me to hell to where I was resurrected and brought back. And just like the places you go to, I get into this tower. So you go through like the earth looking phases and you go through the lakes and the waters. And I get through this tower and I start this tower and it is neon soaked. There are fireworks going off. It is the most colorful experience you've ever seen.
It
Right?
sounds
And
really visually like amazing.
it is like that's ultimately what I'm trying to explain is yesterday I played a level where I was platforming on the sky. Like I don't even know if I have the words to I posted Discord videos, so go watch those, or if you're on Threads, you can find my thread about it. I'm in the sky. There are clouds. The clouds aren't like Mario clouds. The clouds are like think of something more anime like, right? So I'm platforming. It's like a side scroller. I'm jumping across the levels, going platforming, and then all of a sudden the platforms end and you have to jump and ride the clouds as they're moving, like this watercolor anime cloud moving, and you have to jump from cloud to cloud because they're almost like waves. Like the cloud kind of goes up and down, and then the next one comes, and the next one comes, and you're kind of just doing this constant hopping from like foreground to background of these animations as they come through. That I landed in like the first level of the Archangel, and like the entire thing had like this rose petal fairy like rose petal filter on top of it, like it was constantly going as you're playing in the background. It's just visually striking. Is the maybe the most thing that stands out the most, because every level is different than the one before it, right? Every little encounter, every level, it's hard to even explain like how they're broken. I mean, I guess there are chapters, but every chapter is broken into like segments, and every
Oh,
segment
that
is
sounds
visually
awesome.
different. It's like a
How
completely
much is it
different
on
game.
Switch?
$30.
Okay.
I would tell you to, at least if you're interested at all, at least wishlist it. It'll
Yeah.
probably go on sale. It's on sale on Steam. I did double check. It's like $22 on Steam. So I was like, I'll just pop for the Switch version because why not? I want to play my Switch when my wife isn't playing Animal Crossing with it. And I'm really digging it. From the gameplay, it's not very hard, and there's not a whole lot to it. It is just a button masher. You just go around and just beat up everybody. And a lot of the enemies are very samey, so it does in that aspect, it does feel a little repetitive. You know, like those games used to be back in 2008, 2010. That's how like a lot of these games were. There's a lot of like, there's almost like a lot of No More Heroes here. You know, like there are a lot of elements that I'm picking up on, or I'm like, this reminds me a lot of, especially like the arena battles and like how you're fighting. Like it's very No More Heroes 2 and 3. I'm
And
surprised I
that's the
never
kind
heard
of
about
game that
this
you
game
really
before.
like.
And I think that's why
It
Steam,
sounds
like,
very up your alley. Yeah.
exactly. That's why Steam recommended it to me. And then when I saw like the first screenshot, I was like, this does kind of look like my jam. So I'll wishlist it. And then when it came to Switch, I was like, okay, I got to play it.
Yeah.
And I am a little surprised. It's an old game, so I'm not surprised like nobody's talking about it, but I have like yet to hear anybody say anything about
I've
it.
never
Like
heard of it.
exactly. It just hit Switch. Like it just came out. So
It
I feel
sounds like
like
Steam did a good job with the algorithm with like
it
recognizing
knows me.
what you would like. Yeah,
It
that's good
knows
stuff.
me. It's
Do
like,
you want to
hey,
say the
play this
name
game.
again? And
It's called
like,
El Shaddai, and I think it's the Ascension of the Metatron.
is
I
that
was
how
going to say
it's
the
spelled
metaverse, but I
in
think it's the
chat that I
Metatron.
put?
El Shaddai.
Oh,
I'll put it in the chat. El Shaddai.
okay.
And it goes really hard. Like here's the thing. It's not silly. It's not like God of War or something. Like it's not playing on like religious things to exploit it. Like it's very serious. Like it feels very serious in the sense that it's like you have to go save these angels before like humanity falls. And like these fallen angels have went to Earth because Earth is so beautiful. And they even talk about like how they've mixed with humans because they I don't know, like they envy like mortality and the human experience. They're like these texts and stuff that you pick up along the way, and it's like is very serious. Like they tried really hard, I think, to have like a serious tone in the mix of this incredible art style that's going on. And I've been digging it. to say the least. I played it last night. I played it a few nights ago, and every other day or so I've played it. And it is one of those things where yesterday I was like, I'm just going to play a level, and I played like 3 of them because like you just keep going to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. There's almost like there's like another character. I think it's Gabriel. He's your save point, so you come across him. He almost looks like a Persona character. Oh, and Rebecca, I'm not sure if you've seen any of the pictures or in the Discord. There's this entire platforming section where you're doing it in front of like this giant stained glass portrait of these angels.
I saw a screenshot of that. Yeah.
That was a whole completely separate segment of a level, and I'm just like, what even is this game? It's like every 5 minutes the game completely looks different. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks for talking about that one.
Yeah, like so I like to every now and again, you know, if something comes across, I like to bring it to the show if I can. And this one just seemed up my alley, more so than any Endless Ocean could be.
Sure. Well, let's talk about that. The reviews came in for Endless Ocean.
They are not they're not great. Metacritic 64, OpenCritic 62, and at the time that I wrote these down, which was a couple days ago, so maybe they've gone up or down a little bit.
Might even be lower or higher, but I know
probably should be lower.
IGN had a really scathing review of
Good.
it. They gave like a 4 out of 10.
Good.
They were like, this is like the most boring game I've ever played.
These aren't the droids you're looking for. That's been my experience with this game from the get-go. I remember, I mean, Endless Ocean represents to me like everything that's wrong with like the Wii. And like all the things that you hated about the Wii is that, you know, I hated that game. Absolutely hated that game. And hated that they tried so hard to like make it a thing. It's like this. And I saw so many when the thing was announced, it was rumored. I saw so many people on like YouTube and Reddit being like, "I love this game. It's my childhood." I'm like, who are you, monster? This game of all the Wii games to pull, this is the one. This is.
I know it's niche, but like I feel like niche games should still be enjoyable.
I agree. Yeah, it's not that I don't want to like the game. It's just that I don't think it's very good. I never have. It is very boring to me. Now, if you love it, Godspeed. I hope you love it. Like, don't take my like. A lot of people think the games I love suck too, so I'll just be that person for you. I'm okay with that. But of all the games for them to bring in to like pad the lineup, this ain't it, bro. Not great.
Would you have preferred that they revived this or Kid Icarus?
Oh, Kid Icarus by far. Kid Icarus by far. F-Zero, give me all the games that I've made fun of before Endless Ocean. Like, I hate this game. I always have. Like, this is trash. It's so bad.
I never even knew that it was a Nintendo franchise until this game.
Oh, wow. Really? So you're lucky you never played the old ones, right?
No.
You've never played them. Yeah. I got burned on the first one because I was, you know, I've talked about this past. I was really into the Wii. Like crazy, like watched all the E3 things, bought all the things, bought Wii music. Like every time Nintendo was like, we have a new Wii game, I was like, I gotta buy it because I love my Wii. And this was one of those games, and I hated it. And then the second one came out, and people were like, it's better than the first one. I was like, okay, so it's like bad, not awful. Like what are you saying here? So I hated seeing a third one come around. And I remember like I won't name names, but there's several podcasts. They were like, yeah, I think this is fun. We'll get together. We'll hang out with the friends. They're like trying to make it a multiplayer. So I was like, no, absolutely not.
There's so many other games that you can get together with your friends and hang out on.
Play El Shaddai. Like, don't do this. This, blah, blah. Anyway, that game will have come and gone and nobody will even remember it.
Yeah, and Kyle talks in chat, says, I love the underwater concept and visually it looked beautiful. I think
there's games for that.
Conceptually, it is not a bad idea.
No, but there's games like
that do it better. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, I forget the one that I just played. It was last year. I played one. It was great. It's the I think it was the one Quantic Dream made a game like that. And you've got Dave the Diver, which is like taking over the world. There's a few of these.
That's a different kind of genre, though.
Yeah, but the one that I played, I loved, and you can take pictures of animals. You can find sharks and stuff like that.
It's called like Azu or Abzu.
Abzu. Yep, that's the GameStop publishes that one. That back when they were trying to do like game publishing for a while.
Did not know that.
I want to know what that game is called.
I think we're making Edgardo in chat upset. I think
I'm
he's
sorry,
a
Edgardo,
Endless
but I'm
Ocean
not
fan.
gonna I'm not gonna I'm not gonna pull away. It's called Under the Waves, is a game that I just played, and it is a narrative adventure where you complete puzzles and go find things. And there's a lot of animals you can take pictures of, and a lot of sea life and stuff like that. And it's like open world, like underwater. I would
Okay.
100% recommend that game versus the other game. I'm sorry, Edgardo. I'm sorry that you like such a bad game.
No.
Okay, we all have one.
No.
And that one's terrible. Like, it is. You'll never ever get me off of this rock. This is one rock that I stand firmly on. I fucking hate this game. Hate it to my core. Do I hate Endless Ocean?
Oh
I am not
boy.
going to be that person. I love you, dude, but no.
So if you're on the fence, it'll probably go on sale. Maybe, who knows?
Probably not. So that's the other thing. It'll be like
That's
1-2
true.
switch. It'll be $60 forever.
Oh my god.
They shouldn't. Oh, never mind. Let's get off. Let's move on. The ESRB has rated Nintendo World Championships NES edition for Switch. This
Wait,
came a day.
Yeah, you got to talk about Pyoro.
Yeah, this came a day after Pyoro had teased that something Nintendo World Championships was in the works, as he tweeted just a picture of the cartridge from some time ago.
Pyoro, we trust.
He's also added, since the rating came down, that this is not a free game, which seems to suggest that this is not NSO. A lot of people were like, they're going to put Nintendo World Championships on Nintendo Switch Online. Doesn't look like what this is going to be. This looks like to be some sort of actual product release.
When I saw his tweet, I was hoping that it was going to be that the Nintendo World Championship was coming back.
Yeah.
Do you remember they did a couple of those?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Mario Maker.
Yeah.
And they had like Splatoon and Smash, but I remember
that would be a great way to introduce the Switch 2.
The E3 thing, they had Mario Maker, right? That was the Nintendo World Championships where they had like the creators and all that play. I love that. That was super fun. And they also had like those levels released. I have those levels on my Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
According to the rating, this is a collection of 2D challenges and platformer games in which players traverse through various modes. Several challenges involve reaching specific points, while others prompt players to defeat small enemies or survive brief battles. Some games depict pixelated characters using small swords or arrows to strike at enemies. Enemies typically get stunned or disappear in a flash. This sounds like NES Remix, and almost like a rebrand for NES Remix, right?
Yeah, I don't love NES games, but Grub had a really good idea for this game. Hold on, I want to find the tweet because if it's anything like how he described, I would be all for it.
He said they should have, I could paraphrase. He said that they should have
make it like NES Remix, but the challenges are presented to the player like a TikTok feed. You play it, you beat it, then the next one scrolls up from the bottom. Just mainline nostalgia.
Going. Yeah,
that would be good, especially if they had like leaderboards and like challenges and stuff.
Yeah, and it's funny. We were just talking about NES Remix last week.
Yeah,
and how excited I am. How excited I would be for it to come back. So if that's what this is, because at first I was like, they're going to try to sell Nintendo World Championships, like the I was like, I'm not doing that. No. But if it's like this and it's new and it's a remix, sort of, okay, sure. If it's not $60, then yeah. You know, I don't know what they would try to sell something like this for, but if it's like $30, absolutely, I'll bite.
This would be a nice, I think, like bookend to the Switch. Like if this is our
and
last,
it's something
like,
to tide us over.
Yeah, I also like that it says NES edition because that implies there could be an SNES.
Could
edition.
be other, 64 editions. That would be great. You could do other things. That'd be super fun.
Yeah.
As we were talking about before, like they could do a GBA edition, a Game Boy edition, a 64 edition, a GameCube edition. Could you imagine a GameCube edition where you get little snippets of a bunch of your favorite games to play?
It's kind of like WarioWare in a way. Like
it
the
is.
Nintendo levels in WarioWare.
Yep, it just hits you right squarely in the nostalgia. And it's not like you get like a taste. You get to scratch the nostalgia itch without having to buy 10 different $70 games and all that, you know. So I love it. I love it. Hopefully we hear more about this soon. You'd have to think at least at their June Direct, but I was kind of hoping if it's already been rated and the cat's right out of the bag, maybe this gets announced quickly. Like maybe this is like a Twitter announcement or something soon.
I also like the idea of this kind of thing. Like, it's good for Nintendo's branding because if you're playing like snippets of all these games and like you're going to come across franchises that you've never played before, maybe you really vibe with like the challenge that's like the Metroid challenge or something, and then you want to try a Metroid game. Like, it's opening up
Yeah.
people to more than
Yep.
just Mario and Zelda.
Especially if they can bake any of that into the game. Imagine playing something and getting like a prompt. It's like, did you like this? Do you want more?
Yeah.
Click here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like that's good stuff.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, especially at a time where everybody keeps screenshotting them playing these sorts of games on their phone, now's a really good time to like drown out some of that noise with, yeah, but here's a product you could just buy and just play this instead.
Yeah.
You know, good timing. Good timing.
Yep.
I'm excited about this one. Actually, we have a new Splatfest for May 17th to the 19th, and the theme of the Splatfest was what would you do at World's End?
Oh, I know my answer.
Your option is same old, kind of chill, hang out, your bucket list items, or you save the day. What team are you going with?
No, I want to hear your answer first.
Oh, okay. Out of these three, like as they're written, I would probably go same old because I'm like just kind of like be lazy about it.
Hell yeah.
But like the bucket list, I kind of want to like twist into like I'm just gonna like do cocaine, you know, like really like just live it up for the rest of the week.
Go rob a bank.
Yeah.
Go on a joyride for the thrill
just
of it.
do stuff like that. Yeah.
No, I am same old. I am the kind of person that will sleep through the apocalypse and miss it.
Yeah, and just pull the chair out and just like, oh well, I guess this is what we're doing, guys. Let's all go out together.
That's me.
Put something on the playlist, fire up Wind Waker. Let's have a good time.
I will be napping when everything's up in flames.
We are at the start of a new month. Happy Cinco de Mayo. So I did write down the games you can look forward to on your Switch this month. Endless Ocean not being one of them that just released. But you also have Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle. This is out on the 8th. Have you seen this?
No.
This is online multiplayer Pac-Man.
We had that, and then they got rid of it.
Yeah, but in not 99 style, like in almost like a 3D style. Not great, but yeah. Animal Well, which is an indie game a lot of people are looking forward to, comes out on the 9th. I found out about this game. This is called Gift. It's just Gift. This is an action game where you're on a boat that's sinking and you have to figure out all the puzzles and everything to get out. But like the Water Temple, you can alter like the ship, which changes the water levels in different rooms and things. And that impacts the different puzzles and they kind of compact on top of each other. I'm going to play this at some point. Probably not at launch, but I'm probably going to play it at some point. Okay. Also on the 9th, Little Kitty Big City.
Heck yeah, very excited.
Get excited.
This one. Yeah.
Corpo Nation, The Sorting Process, that was in the Indie Direct. The Braid Anniversary Edition drops on the 14th.
Finally, so after like 5 years.
So does Biomutant. I'm gonna get it. Netflix. I'm just gonna play it on my tablet with my little controller. You get it for free for Netflix. Yeah. Biomutant drops on the 14th. I thought this had already come to Switch. This game came out years ago. I like that game. I'm interested to hear about how the Switch version holds up. Probably not well. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes comes out on the 16th. World of Goo 2 on the 23rd, and then we are finally saved by Paper Mario Thousand Year Door also on the 23rd. And then I threw this in here. Skeller Boy is listed for the 31st. I don't think it has an official release date, but on the eShop it's listed for the 31st. That might come out. I kind of like that game. It's from that Ratalaika game. They make like really cheap games.
Oh yeah,
but it is kind of like yeah, but it's like a Stranger Things like horror kind of like top-down adventure game. And I played the demo. There's a free demo of it, and the demo's quite fun. Okay. But I will be playing Thousand Year Door. As you will.
I'm very excited for this. This is gonna save Nintendo's year.
I hope so. I hope so. Zynga has announced that Star Wars Hunters will release June 4th. That was the game. Zynga, yeah, they're publishing this one. This is the game that Brendan, he asked a few weeks ago, what's a game that you forgot about? And his was this game. And then fast forward a few weeks, it's finally been. This game was debuted in a February Direct in 2021. That's how long we've been waiting on this free-to-play multiplayer Heroes Star Wars game. So if you're excited for it, Hunters will offer multiple ways to play, both with friends and against AI bots, which include the standard deathmatch, as well as a point control matches and dynamic control, as well as trophy chase, as a race for teams to control small golden droid, aptly named the TROF-33. So may the 4th be with you on June 4th. May 4th. On June 4th. So got that game to look forward to. The next one, I was really hoping for Delvin to be here. I found out about this game last week after we recorded the show. Have you heard of this game called Funko Fusion?
Is this a Funko Pop thing?
It is. It's a Funko Pop game.
Delvin likes Funko Pops?
I don't know if he likes Funko Pops. I think he just likes... I don't think so. Delvin loves licensed IP. Like any... Rebecca, the trash that he has bought because SpongeBob or the Transformers or something that is on the cover, he loves licensed IP.
Why?
And this game looks
trash.
This game looks like a licensed IP fan dream. Like, here's the thing, I'm going to get this game too. I do like Funko Pops. I'm into Funko Pops. I've got several of them. I don't collect them, but I have probably 20 of them.
It's millennial horror.
Yeah, I can see that. I've got them for like my horror shelf, and then I've got like a couple, I've got Gears of War ones, things like that. But check this out. So this game is from a developer called 1010 Games. They're made up of like former Lego developers from Traveler's Tales. So a lot of the Lego developers went over to this studio, and now they're making a new game, which is a lot like a Lego game, except with Funko instead of Lego. Now, what makes this one different is that this one is rated teen and not E for everyone. So it'll be a slightly more mature Lego game.
Well, that's good.
And it, like, when you watch the trailer, to me, it really looked like Lego Dimensions without the Toys to Life part. It's not a Toys to Life game. They didn't talk about microtransactions or anything. I imagine that there will be plenty of it in there. But what they did talk about is that tons of IP are going to be in the first game from NBC Universal. So Chucky is going to be in the game. Scott Pilgrim will be in the game. Jurassic Park, Megan, The Mummy, Shaun of the Dead, He-Man, Five Nights at Freddy's, Battlestar Galactica, Jaws, Invincible. These are all going to be in the game as either playable characters or playable levels. Pre-orders will receive a Walking Dead pack at launch with no additional cost. You'll get to Rick Grimes and Michonne if you pre-order the game. It comes out September 13th. It's coming to Switch. And I kind of penciled this one in. I think I'm in on it.
It's kind of cool that they're able to get so many different IPs in like one game for a crossover.
I think we're going to end up in, it's going to be like a metaverse situation where I think there's going to be like a bad person taking over like the Universal, the universe, and you'll hop from like, universe to universe trying to save the day, like level to level. And from the little snippets that you see in the trailer, I was like, this has got to be the best way to play Chucky in a video game to date. Like, I wasn't that enamored with the Dead by Daylight stuff or the Roblox thing, which looked terrible. But this one looks good. Like, it looks quality. Now, I may eat those words because it was just a trailer. I want to get it, but I will probably wait for reviews because it's a first time outing from a new dev. And I don't want it to be like, give us $5 every time you want to play as a new character. I still have reservations, but what they showed, I think, looked really solid. And I like Lego games. I always have. I love the Lego Hobbit and the Lego Lord of the Rings and Lego City. I like the Lego Batman. I like those games. So if they can bring that charm and wit and funny to these franchises and let me run around as a little Funko, I'm in. I'm down to do that.
Okay. I hope it's good.
So put that on your radars. We don't have a whole lot on the radars right now, so that's one you can add to the list. Plucky Squire reassures gamers that the game will release this year. So
I'm fixing.
Get excited.
That is going to be a Game of the Year contender. It will be.
I hope so. I'm day one on it.
One of the best, yeah.
But we've been waiting on it, so they said it's going to be this year. So hopefully,
if it releases this year, it will get a Game of the Year nominee.
We talked about this last week as well. Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, as well as Pushmo, have received new trademarks this week in Australia. Now, we get trademarks all the time. What makes this notable is the trademarks for these games in Australia, for the releases of them on Wii U, are still current. So this isn't them renewing those trademarks. This is them making trademarks for them again, which is going to cause people to speculate that maybe these games are headed to Switch. I love Pushmo. I hated Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. So
Well, they need a new Kirby game for this year. It makes sense.
it's better than
You know,
Endless Ocean.
put
but
the big
not much.
the next big Kirby project on Switch 2 and maybe remaster
Sure.
or re-release, you know.
And you could
maybe
play
later.
this game without the stylus. It is meant to be played with the stylus, but there was a controller option if I remember on
Yeah.
Wii U. I think you could play it on sticks. So yeah, if you want to play it, I wouldn't like. I'm more apt to get Luigi's Mansion 2 than Kirby and the Rainbow Curse. I just didn't like that game. There was an ID at Xbox showcase this week where they had like so many indie games. I did want to point out that several of their games are also coming to Switch. So Aster, Galaxyland, Tales of Iron 2, and the Vampire Survivors update and DLC, those are all coming to Switch. I want to highlight Aster. Have you seen this game?
Mm-mm.
Let me look it up again. Let me find the full name. As I look it up, it gives me Astros, the Houston Astros. Aster, Blade of the Monolith is the name of the
Okay.
game. It's got Zelda vibes.
Okay.
And we love a good Zelda like, right?
Yeah,
So
we
I
do.
was like, definitely want to point this out to the Shack listeners and Rebecca. I put it on my wish list to get. It's not coming to Game Pass, so I'm probably going to get it on Switch. And yeah, it looks pretty good.
Huh.
Some people are digging it.
Yeah, okay.
Hi-Fi Rush has been rated for release on Nintendo Switch in Europe. So
Was
we
that
were all
I thought that
thinking,
was already announced for Switch, was it not?
well, we all knew that those games are coming, but when Hi-Fi Rush was announced, it was just announced for PlayStation 5.
Oh.
And at the time, everybody said, well, the Switch can't run it. It'll probably be on Switch 2. And now it's been rated, which makes me think it's coming before Switch 2.
My bad. I thought it was already announced.
Mhm. So still yet to be announced. Could be in their direct or whatnot. Could be a shadow drop sort of thing. I think Switch folks will really like Hi-Fi Rush. Hopefully it can make the transition to the Switch well. It didn't like, I don't know how well that game is going to scale. I mean, I guess if they chop the resolution down, I think it should be it should be okay. I think it should be okay. I do remember when it launched, people had some PC issues, even like with, it's not like the most lightweight of games. So if it's a little fuzzy, I could see that, but I'm hoping it'll be okay. And then there's a rumor here, although I don't really think it's a rumor. This is pretty self-explanatory, but Midori, very known Atlas leaker, has leaked all the personas and everything for the last couple of years, says that all of the Sega remakes that are in development, including the Alice games, so any Persona remakes, Sega announced all of those games that they're remaking, Crazy Taxi, I forget the other ones. I know Streets of Rage, whatever the other ones were, there are a bunch of them. They're all in development and releasing and targeting Switch 2. So if you think any of those are coming out soon, they're not. They're not going to be at the direct. They're not this summer. They're next year. They're on the next system and all that. So I thought that was worth pointing out and pulling up. And that's the news.
I feel like the year's slowly starting to fill in with games. Not really at the pace that I want it to be, but
I think we're all
getting
in for a
there.
big surprise
You
come
think so?
summer game. So if we can take a minute, this has been my thing since the start of the year. I've held on to this because in January we did a segment on PSVG where we're talking. Somebody asked us a question like, how will this year be compared to last year? And last year is some people's favorite game, some people's favorite year in gaming ever.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to be that. I've never said that. But Dev and Delvin were really kind of like, this year's going to be bad. Like everything's bad. And I kept saying, like, I think it's going to be a lot better than everybody thinks. Because there's a lot of games in the works, especially like with COVID, that have yet to come out and have yet to be announced. And I don't think they're all going to miss. And I think they're going to show up. And I think what's happened is here in this like late spring, is that all of these announcements that are probably coming have all just been saved for Summer Games Fest. Like they're all just like, just give us 6 to 8 weeks and we will announce everything. Like I'm expecting them to. There's like rumors of a Tomb Raider game out there. We're expecting an Assassin's Creed game coming out there. Like Ubisoft has multiple games. I think, especially on the third party front, we're probably going to get a really good second half of the year.
I'm inclined to believe that more than because Nintendo doesn't really have too much of a presence at Summer Games Fest in general. They kind of do their own
for
thing.
Us on the Switch front. I do wonder. I asked Jeff and Mike this question. We all expect it to be a lighter year for Nintendo as they transition to next system. But that doesn't mean that Switch can't have a pretty awesome second half of the year with third party. Like, can third party prop this up? Can a Plucky Squire and a Hi-Fi Rush and a Silk Song, and you start to build, you give me 9 or 10 of those, and it's like, this year's pretty awesome. And you throw in a Nintendo World Championships or a Wind Waker port and a Kirby, and all of a sudden it's like, how do I buy all these? We're not that far away from that, even in a transition year. And I just keep coming back to it, like, what if, I don't expect it, but like, what if that Arceus game is out there? Like, what if they hit you with something that we're not expecting?
Right.
And I think everybody's opinion on the year can turn around quickly, real quick.
Yeah, I think there's the criticism that like a lot of what we would be getting is old material, old games. Like it would be a lot of remasters. It would be a lot of like these, NES type things.
Played them before.
Games. But I would rather have a year jam packed with those than and then have like a stronger year for the Switch 2, which I think we've talked about.
Yeah, I agree. And I love remakes. And I do understand the criticism, like, hey, I've played these before.
Yeah.
I've never been that way. I play old games all the time. I'm playing Wolfenstein, I'm playing El Shaddai, and so do you. I know that. A lot of people, and I'm speaking like macro, maybe even casual, to a lot of people, gaming is like disposable. It's something that they do, and then they finish it, and then they never touch it ever again. Right? I've never really subscribed to that. So I like remakes and remasters. Give me as many of them as you want. I also think there's a lot of stuff going on in the mobile space, and if some of that stuff could come over, that's enough. Like there's this Sonic game on your iPhone. If you have Apple Arcade, that's great. It's like a 3D world Sonic game. Like, could that just hit Switch at some point? Sure, why not? I don't think they're, doing gangbusters on Apple Arcade with it. Like I could see stuff like that popping over.
Yeah, if they don't have a exclusivity to stay there.
Yeah. And like we've had some good ones. We're still waiting on some other ones. Oh, there's that Blade Chimera game that was announced some time ago in one of the directs. Yeah, like there are still games I'm waiting for on Switch, and if we can get 1 or 2 of them a month.
Other 2 Prime games.
Oh, I forgot all about those. Those sound easy to release.
Yeah.
Grubb said they're on the way. They should be on the way. I honestly think if they drop one of those Zelda games, all of that shit goes out the window and everybody's happy. Remaster or not, Zelda's Zelda, and I think for a lot of people they'll be super stoked if one of those Zelda games drop, if they drop both of them.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if we got all of it? Plucky Squire, Zelda games, Metroid Prime, like people are losing their minds. People are like, wow, what a great year. Yeah. So yeah, I've just been, I don't know, hopefully optimistic, I'm sniffing the hopium on this one. I think this year's going to surprise people.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. Are you ready for some questions?
Let's do it.
I'm still going to skip G-Man's question about SpongeBob. We're going to wait for Delvin for that one. I hope that's okay.
Okay.
Tyler wants to know if Banjo-Kazooie gets announced this year. Do you remember that rumor?
I do.
Does Microsoft let the Nintendo audience have it, or do they let Nintendo announce it at their possible June? And do they let Nintendo announce it at their possible June Direct? At this point, I really just need a new 3D adventure Banjo game, and I'd be set. That game does apparently exist, but I think the source of the rumor said it's far away. It is
this the Toys for Bob project that just got?
No, I don't believe
somebody
so.
else.
I think so. Okay. I could be wrong, but I think it is somebody else. But
I feel like Toys for Bob has been oft rumored that they've been working on a new Spyro game for a minute. So I'm expecting a Spyro game to show up at some point. Maybe not this summer, but like by the next 12 to 18 months, I think we're getting a new Spyro game. Unless it just
I
takes a
could see
lot
that.
longer. But I
Yeah.
remember, I think it was Grub and I think Insider Gaming. I think they had reports that Toys for Bob was working on a new Spyro game last year. So if that was true, and like there was the Activision thing, and that, so I'm sure there may have been a delay in production. But I assume that that's what Xbox licensed Toys for Bob to do, to finish that game, and I expect that to come out in the next year or two.
Yeah.
So
I'm
if
a
they're not
believer
doing
in
the
this
Banjo game,
Banjo-Kazooie rumor. I think that is supposedly in development, but it's very early on. So I don't think that will be this year, Tyler. I think it's a ways away. And I don't know that they would let Nintendo announce it, to be honest.
absolutely not. Yeah, that's not happening. They're not going to let Nintendo announce it. Now, I could see it. It's
I
in
could
the
see it being
Xbox
in a direct,
showcase,
but
and then it's
after we know it
also in
exists.
the
Yeah.
direct.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I 100%. I think that's going to happen because
Mhm.
I don't think it does Xbox any good to announce a Banjo game that's exclusive. The net on that is a negative. You won't service enough people with exclusivity to make it worth it.
Yeah.
Right? You'll sell a ton of copies of that on Nintendo. And we've seen them with Minecraft and Ori and all the other games that have come to Nintendo. I wouldn't even make it a timed exclusive. I would just announce it for Xbox, PC, and Nintendo,
Mhm.
and just leave it at that. Because the Nintendo fans would show up. You probably sell, I don't know, what do you think Banjo sells these days? A couple million copies on Switch?
No.
Not that much.
Less than
I
a
was
million.
thinking two.
No. No.
Okay, so maybe not then. Maybe not.
800.
I think I would like to see Banjo come back. I was never into Banjo. I just think there was so much hype after that Smash reveal. I was like, how do we not have a game to go with this? Like,
I
how do
think
you
you
not
would
have
have been
something?
more I think you would have had a better chance of breaking 1,000,000 if it had been, like, right after that.
God, the people were foaming at the mouth for a Banjo game,
Yeah.
and there was nothing there.
Yeah.
Even like a port, like put nuts and bolts on Switch or something.
Yep.
That would just make a ton of sense.
Yeah.
They did put Banjo in NSO though, right? Didn't that happen?
The first one.
The
Yeah, we
first
don't
one.
have the second one yet.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make
Mhm.
sense.
Dead Man wants to know what's your favorite board game to play, whether it's on Switch or just in general.
So this one's funny. I don't know how you feel about board games, Rebecca, but I have generally discovered that I don't like them. I've bought a
What?
bunch of them. I've bought a bunch of them because of board with video games. They get me hyped on something, and I get into it and I buy it. And then you start setting it down, you start setting it up, you start going through the room like, oh my God, this is I don't think I have the attention span anymore.
Do
You know?
card games count as board games like
No.
Exploding Kittens?
No, I think that's different
No?
because I like card games, like I do Pokemon cards and stuff. When I think board game, I mean like legit board game, you know.
Well, then
And
I mean, I haven't played a lot of board games. I like Code Names. That's a card game though.
nice.
I don't know. Does that count as a board game? Maybe not.
We do have one that I bought because of board video games. I forget what it's called. It's like some vampire game where you all have to close your eyes and like try to figure out who the vampire is and stuff. That's pretty fun.
Like a secret identity type of game.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Like
Yeah.
somebody's the vampire and they do stuff where everybody's supposed to have their eyes closed and all that. It's pretty fun. But yeah, board games have just not been my jam for some time. When I was little, I loved them. But I think video games and TikTok and social media, like, I honestly don't think I have the attention span for it anymore. I think that's,
Yeah,
do you ever
maybe I
feel that
don't
way?
either. Yeah. Oh, totally.
Like,
I bought the Stardew Valley board game and I have never even opened it.
I bought the Scott Pilgrim board game and I had never, because you start getting into it and you go to sell. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'll just
There's
put
a
it on the
lot of
shelf.
pieces.
Yeah. Yeah. I bought this one game I was ecstatic for. There's a golf game. It's a board golf game. It has tiles and you make little golf holes. And then you have like these little roller thing and you flick them. And based on where you land on the board, like you have to do weird things. Like you can only use your thumb or you have to use your left hand. And I was like, I'm going to love this game. Like it's a dexterity golf game. I played it twice and we've never played it again. But what I was going to say is I went to my daughter's in a play this week and I went to her play. She's in a play every other month. This is like her thing. and I was sitting there in this play, and that's the only I was like dying to get. I was like, why is this so long?
No!
It's 2 hours. Like,
No!
people have things
That's
to
the
do,
length of a movie.
and I'm starting to wonder. I was like, oh boy, like I feel like I'm changing. Like I'm just realizing
Oh
how my
no.
own attention span. I was like, God, I hate this. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Nobody it wasn't a great play. She was great, but the whole wasn't so great either. So I think that
Yeah.
had a lot to do with it. But board games, yeah, not my thing.
Kyle the Pug says, what Nintendo game is so perfect to the point that it does not need a remake?
I mean, mine is Super Mario World. It's like
That
the
and
one
Link
that
to the
comes
Past.
immediately to me.
Those
I
two
agree
do
with
not
that.
need remakes.
Yeah. I was hard on Link Between Worlds because I felt so much of it was like a remake of Link to the Past. You know, they were just like so similar, different, but like very similar.
It's like a soft remake almost.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what that game's story is, but if you told me it started as I would 100% believe it.
It's almost like a
'Cause it's like-
reimagining.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like probably what I
there's
would
a
call it.
ton of shared DNA on it.
There's a lot of
And,
dungeons that are exactly the same, bosses that are exactly the
bosses.
same, character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the game, and my appreciation for it has gone up tremendously since that time. But at the time, when everybody was like game of the year, and I was like, it's just linked to the it is linked to the past.
Yeah.
But that is the one that comes to mind immediately for me is Super Mario World. I couldn't imagine touching that game. Leave it alone.
I think a lot of Super Nintendo games are really timeless in that regard. Like they
100%.
just don't age.
Super Metroid.
I said for a long time Super Metroid, but then I played Metroid Dread and I thought, wow, I would love to play Super
you would love to
Metroid
redo it.
in this engine.
Samus
Yeah.
Returns. Yeah, same. I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, Super Mario World and Link to the Past and maybe Yoshi's Island. I would not touch those three.
I couldn't imagine touching Yoshi's Island. Why would you?
No.
You could make it widescreen, make it more vibrant stuff, but leave it alone.
I just discovered when I was doing my DS dive the other day that Yoshi's Island DS is kind of almost sort of like a remake of Yoshi's Island.
I didn't know that. I've never played it.
It's not a remake, but it has like a lot of the same DNA.
I bet
never
it's on
played
here.
it either. Yeah. Okay.
I've never played it. I didn't even know that existed. But again, I didn't have a DS.
Yeah.
So that was another reason I bought that thing. I didn't have a DS. It was a lot, it was like the first day with it, I was just opening games. Like, what is this like? What is this? I don't even know what this is.
And I love that you can do that with that. You don't need to. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I think this is our last question. G-Man says, Happy Cinco de Mayo, Shaq. What is your favorite Mexican food that you enjoy? He says, for me, it has to be tacos with beef and cheese. He has a second question, but let's start with that.
Favorite Mexican food. I mean,
I
all
love
of it,
Mexican food.
it's all the same thing, just different, wrapped and presented in different ways. I love, I really do love it all, but I love a good burrito or a quesadilla.
Oh, I love quesadillas.
Yeah.
So I don't eat.
Quesadillas are easier to like, they're easier to eat. My wife took me to a Mexican this week. We went out to lunch. She took me to this Mexican place that she always wants to go to. And I tell you, they give me the biggest burrito I've ever seen.
A lot of Mexican places give huge portion sizes. It's crazy.
Rebecca, it was like a gallon of burrito. It was absurd. It was like this big. It was ridiculous. It was so
a gallon of burrito. Ew.
I tried to lift it up and it like started to split open. I was like, there's no way I don't eat this without a fork. Like,
so look, I don't eat beef. I don't eat any kind of beef.
Correct.
But so that's dangerous for me for Mexican places. But I like a lot of like Mexican dishes with chicken and pork, like quesadillas, burritos. Arroz con pollo is like such a good dish. Oh my gosh, so good.
Nice. So I like the quesadilla because it's more manageable. You can hold it. It's a little easier to eat, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But who doesn't love all of it? So
I love cheese. I love beans. I love rice. Oh, it's so good.
Same. We should do Mexican today. Oh, never mind. Everybody's gonna be doing Mexican today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So never mind. I keep forgetting what today is. I'm like, never mind.
When we eventually do a PSVG house party meetup, we're gonna go to a Mexican restaurant.
I like it. I think everybody can get behind that.
Cool. G-Man also wants to know, can Luigi have a mode just like in NES Remix 2 again for the Nintendo World Championship thing? He says, Year of Luigi never ends.
Yeah, no, he never does. He's getting his own game. It's coming out in a couple months, so I think Luigi's pretty square. I would like to see, if we're getting this Nintendo World Championship, it would be cool to see them remix like a Mario into a Luigi level or something here and there.
Do you think there is a chance that when they announce this World Championship NES Edition game thing, that they also say, by the way, we're having another World Championship 2024 at the end of this year?
No. I don't think so. Are they still doing any of the tournaments anymore? Like, is there Splatoon 3 tournaments in Smash?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe then they rebrand those. What are they doing? The Nintendo Live is in Australia, right? I think Nintendo Live is in Australia. It's in a different country. I know that. So maybe they try to say it like that. We're gonna have a Nintendo World Championships.
That would be such a
Nintendo
great way
Live
to reveal the Switch 2.
at Nintendo World Championships. I don't think so. I'm trying to get behind your thought here. I mean, when you mean reveal, do you mean like tease, like just hold it up or something? Or do you mean like
really
actually
cool
reveal the system?
Have them reveal it and then be like, the final two are playing a level in the next Mario game.
That would be cool.
Too.
Yeah,
Because
no,
like how
that
they did
would
that
be
with
cool.
Odyssey. They did that with Odyssey.
Yeah.
Where they played Odyssey before it was out.
Good point. That'd be a great
And
way
they have to
I think
blind
that's
play it with a brand new controller.
like
and
that's a
brand new
tease.
System. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good because the internet loves mystery. People love trying to figure something out. So that would be great. You would just get everybody going for 3 or 4 weeks trying to figure out if whatever they can. See Digital Foundry looking at a screen of a TV in the distance being like, I think we can count a certain amount of pixels. Yeah, people love that stuff. So that's good. I can get behind that for sure.
It'd be cool.
But like they don't broadcast Nintendo Live, right? Like there's no. Do they have a stream for that? I thought it was just kind of like an isolated thing.
I don't know. They did for Nintendo World Championships in 2017, but I don't know what they did for Nintendo Live. I don't think they did.
And I think they could do it again. I would say this. I like the idea of making that a part of Nintendo Live. I think it adds a lot more to that event. If you could have like, we're gonna have a Smash tournament, because if it's put on by Nintendo, it means more.
Yeah.
So I could see that. That'd be super fun.
Yeah. All right. That is the end of the questions. We didn't have too many this week, but that's okay. We had a lot of news for once.
We don't have Delvin getting questions anymore. PSVG is the same way. We got like 2 questions. When I put out for questions, nobody responds. When Delvin puts out questions, we like 18 questions.
Love it. Hopefully he's back next week.
Hopefully.
Sending love to him and his direction. So that's gonna do it. I will have stuff to say about Little Kitty Big City next week, and then after that we're counting down the days until Paper Mario, so get hyped.
So close. We're right there.
Yep. All right, Koopalings, have a good week. We'll see you next time.
Peace. Whenever you're ready.
All right. This is Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening, and I forgot the line already. What?